That is an interesting fight. And you know why it's interesting? It's a dangerous fight for both guys. Number one, very dangerous fight. Both of them were terrific amateurs, undefeated as pros.
Teddy Atlas breaks down the upcoming clash between David Benavidez and David Morell, calling it a dangerous fight for both fighters. However, David Benavidez and David Morell engaged in a heated exchange, each showcasing their fiery determination. Benavidez exuded confidence, emphasizing his belief in his dominance and his readiness to face the challenge head-on. Morell, undeterred by Benavidez's bold statements, responded fiercely, making it clear that he wouldn't back down. The tension between them was undeniable, as both fighters made it known they're prepared for the fierce battle ahead.
Benavidez, let me...
You know, hold on, before you get started, it's funny because he has so much stuff to say before the press conference, all this and that I'm a RoboCop, that he's gonna knock me out, that I don't have nothing. But now look at him, he's scared, he don't have... What's up with all that you were saying? How come you're not saying all that now? He's there, you can't even talk, he's all nervous. He's all nervous.
Bro, he's just saying,
Where's all
bro,
that
you had the RoboCop, man, you had the RoboCop, you know what I mean? You had the RoboCop. Hey, this is my fault, you don't have nothing, bro. This is my fault.
I'm gonna beat the shit out.
This is my fault, you don't have nothing.
You what? Do now. I'm gonna retire that. I'm gonna retire that.
You don't have nothing.
Stop saying all this shit.
That's it. That's it.
I'm gonna beat the shit out you.
This is actually...
That's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna beat the shit out you. You're never gonna come back to boxing.
You can do it, bro. You can do it.
Okay,
I'm ready, baby. I'm ready. I'm teaching you the really boxing. I'm teaching you. I'm teaching you, bro.
I can't wait. I want you to say that right after the fight. Right after the fight, when I got you on the...
You can do it, man. I want you to say what you're saying right now, bro. You're not nothing. Nothing.
David Morell expressed unwavering confidence in his victory, stating he's certain he'll win, regardless of whether it's by knockout or decision. He believes he's fully equipped with the skills and mindset necessary to emerge victorious on February 1st. Morell's certainty highlights his determination to prove himself and dominate in the ring.
Para obtener la victoria en esa pelea.
I'm 100% convinced that I'm gonna win this fight. I don't care which way I win it. If I knock him out, or if it's after the final bout with the judges, I know I have all the conditions and the skill needed to come out on top on February 1st.
In an interview with Gloves Off, Morell questioned David Benavidez's nickname by not understanding why he is called Monster and promised a resounding victory. "I don't know why people say he's the monster," Morell said in the interview, adding, "Boom, he's falling 100%. I promise I'll knock him out." As the exchange came to a close, David Benavidez fired back with a definitive remark, declaring that all the talking was over. He made it clear that the next time they meet, it'll be in the ring, stating that Morell will soon be seeing him in his nightmares. This powerful statement underlined Benavidez's intense focus and determination, signaling he's ready to let his actions speak louder than words.
Oh yeah, everything is done. All the talking is done. I'll see you soon. And I know you see me in your nightmares. So I'll see you soon.
Morell, you want to say something back before you go?
Amor y paz.
Leonard Ellerby believes the fight between David Benavidez and David Morell will be an exciting, close match. He thinks both fighters will likely get knocked down at some point and could face moments of danger or injury. Ellerby says the fight will be full of back-and-forth action, with both men eager to win and prove themselves. With all the trash talk leading up to the fight, he feels the fans will be the real winners, enjoying a thrilling and action-packed battle.
I anticipated this to be a very 50-50 kind of fight. I expected somebody's gonna hit the canvas, and it probably might be early, and the other person might get hurt in the fight. It's gonna be a lot of ups and downs, ebbs and flows in this particular fight because both guys really want it bad, and want to make a big statement. It's gonna be a lot of trash talking with the build-up. So this is one of those kind of fights that the fans will actually win with this.
Lonnie B shared his thoughts on the upcoming fight between David Benavidez and David Morell, saying it will be a tough challenge for Benavidez. He praised Morell for his skills, calling him a big, slick fighter with a dangerous Cuban style. According to Lonnie B, Morell's great footwork and ability to punch while avoiding damage make him a tricky opponent, even for someone as strong as Benavidez. He believes Morell's style, being both offensive and elusive, will pose serious problems for Benavidez, as he can land clean shots without taking much punishment.
Tough fight. David Morell is really good. He's really good. Yeah, he's good. I can't even. He's good. You know?
You're kind of giving me a face like you don't know who wins that fight.
Yeah, I don't.
Oh.
Because David Morell is big too. He's big for super middleweight too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's big. He can punch. He's slick. Real got that Cuban style. What he Cuban?
Yeah.
Like real slick.
But offensive with it.
Offensive with it. And those styles are tough for anybody to fight. For anybody to fight.
Even the Mexican monster.
Even the Mexican monster.
Lonnie B also pointed out the difference in fighting styles. Benavidez relies on his size and strength to overpower opponents, but he's not as slick or elusive as Morell. Lonnie B thinks Benavidez's usual strategy of wearing opponents down might not work as well against Morell, who can move around the ring and counterpunch effectively. With Morell's power and skills, Lonnie sees the fight as dangerous for Benavidez and considers it a 50-50 matchup.
Especially with David, with that style he got, David's really not slick. He just uses his size to wear guys down. He's like he walk him down and he's so big, you hitting him, but you really can't get him good because he's too big.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? With David Morell, he would really have to worry about some heat coming back being thrown at him, and David Morell got real good feet. He got real good feet, so I think that would give David some trouble, and he can punch.
So would you favor David or Canelo in that sense? Oh, and I mean David as in Benavidez? No.
That's a 50-50 fight. David Morell and David Benavidez is a 50-50 fight, in my opinion.
Robert Garcia discussed the upcoming fight between David Benavidez and David Morell, calling it a must-see event for boxing fans. He stressed that this is the kind of matchup fans are eager to watch. Garcia highlighted that both fighters are moving up in weight to chase bigger opportunities, and this fight is exactly what boxing needs right now. He pointed out that while there aren't many big names in the lighter divisions like 115 and 118 pounds, this clash between two powerful fighters at a higher weight is just what the sport needs to get fans excited.
Benavidez, Morell. How does that fight go?
See, those are the fights that need to happen, man. Those are the fights that the world wants to see. You know, I was talking about Bam, but there's no big names for Bam at 115. 118, maybe a couple. 122, maybe one day, 3 years from now. But Benavidez, you know, and Morell, they both move up to a division where they're chasing the big fights and now they're fighting each other. That's going to be a sick-ass fight. Can't wait for that one.
Garcia also shared his thoughts on how the fight could play out, admitting it's tough to pick a winner. Both fighters have incredible power and aggression, which makes the matchup thrilling. While Garcia respects Morell's skills, he ultimately favors Benavidez, calling him the likely winner of the fight. Regardless of the outcome, Garcia is excited about the matchup, saying it will be a fantastic fight that proves to the boxing world that the biggest fights should happen.
Both are they're gonna put up. I don't know, man. It's a hard pick, but I'm going with Benavidez, definitely.
Mexico.
Definitely have to go with Benavidez. But
Yeah.
I'm glad. See, they're showing everybody else, you know, that fights could, you know, they need to happen. We need to see them.
However, Teddy Atlas talks about the exciting fight between David Morell and David Benavidez. He points out that both are undefeated with strong amateur backgrounds. Morell, from Cuba, had a quick rise in the pro ranks, winning a world title in just a few fights, which is rare for most boxers.
That is an interesting fight. And you know why it's interesting? It's a dangerous fight for both guys. Number one. Very dangerous fight. Both of them were terrific amateurs, undefeated as pros. I mean, Morell comes from the legendary Cuban national team. You know, in the Olympics, everything else. He won a world title in a short period of time.
Atlas compares Morell's quick success to greats like Roman Gonzalez and even Leon Spinks, who won the heavyweight title after only a few fights. These examples show that Morell is part of an elite group of boxers with incredible potential.
Only a few special fighters have, you know, guys like Lomachenko, Rigon Dial, you know, who else? There's been a few, but a handful of guys that could win a title in 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 fights, which he did. So, hey, don't forget, I know people don't give him enough respect, but he really should get it. I can't help but say it. I like people getting respect when they should. I really do. Leon Spinks, you know, he beat Ali after, 9 fights, whatever it was, shorter period of fights.
According to Atlas, what makes this fight stand out is the significant risk both fighters are taking. Instead of waiting for an easier, more lucrative opportunity, Morell and Benavidez are choosing to face each other in a high-stakes battle. Their willingness to step up and take on such a tough challenge, despite the potential rewards being uncertain, is what makes this fight truly special.
So, it's two guys in there that have the future in front of them in their career, and they're taking a risk. They're both taking a big risk. That's what, for me, that's what makes this fight so special. Their talents, their undefeated records, what's at stake, right? All of that. but that they're taking a risk when a lot of the fighters wouldn't. They'd say, no, I'm going to wait for a bigger fight. I'm going to, not a bigger fight as far as danger, but a bigger fight as far as maybe a payday or, whatever it could be. But you got a guy like Morell. Not all those kind of fighters at this stage of their career would go and take on a dangerous fight against a guy like Benavidez.
Atlas praises Benavidez for not sitting around after missing out on a big fight with Canelo Alvarez. Instead of waiting for a less dangerous opponent, Benavidez is facing Morell, showing real courage and determination.
And Benavidez, give him all the credit in the world. Like, goodness, him and his father. Give them credit that, they didn't get the Canelo fight. They're right in line for the winner of Bivol and Benavidez. And what do? They just sit around and, twiddle their thumbs or sit around and fight a soft touch? No, they take this. So I'm chomping at the bit. I'm really curious for that fight. It's a great fight. Really am.
Canelo Alvarez expressed his belief that the upcoming fight will be a great one, considering it a 50-50 matchup. He highlighted the balance between the two fighters, emphasizing that it will be an exciting and evenly contested battle. He stated, "It's going to be a good fight, 50-50 fight." Jose Benavidez Jr. voiced his frustration over the intense confrontation between David Benavidez and David Morell at the press conference in Miami, specifically criticizing Morell for throwing the belt. He felt the act was disrespectful and questioned why Morell didn't handle his anger in a more mature way. Benavidez Jr. argued that Morell's actions didn't align with the tough image he portrays, calling it a sign of poor character. He was taken aback by the move, emphasizing that such behavior negatively reflects on Morell, especially with a major fight on the horizon.
There's been a lot of bad blood with this buildup because of what's happened at the press conferences. Like, you as a bystander, what'd you make of what happened in Miami?
I wasn't there though, that's the thing.
Like Morell threw the belt at him, David ducked.
I don't know why the belt. That's something you don't do. What if there would have been, someone said he was a kid or something? You don't do that. And that's how you know he's not how he says he is. He walks around like he's gangster. He's like, none of that. Why you gonna throw a belt? Why not pass the belt down to the side and go handle it? If you're really mad, if you're really about that, I mean, it is what it is.
Did that type of response surprise you, from him?
It just made me seem like he's a.
Paulie Malignaggi argued that although Canelo Alvarez controls the money in boxing, the real top fight in the weight class is between David Benavidez and David Morell. He believes both fighters have the ability to defeat Canelo, pointing out the disconnect between financial power and the true talent in the sport. Malignaggi criticized the boxing world, saying it's backwards that the most lucrative fights don't always feature the best matchups.
But the biggest problem is this. All the money is in Canelo Alvarez, but the best fight is probably Benavidez versus Morell. You know what I mean? Like the best fight in terms of the top, who are actually the top two guys in this weight class are probably Benavidez and Morell. I think they both beat Canelo. It's funny because all the money's with Canelo, so everything revolves around Canelo. And this is why this sport is backward.
As the fight with Morell approaches, Benavidez is ramping up his preparations, showing his physical and mental readiness. The tension between the two has been growing, with Benavidez aiming to make a strong statement in the ring. His intense training highlights his determination to prove he's one of the top fighters in the division, and fans are eagerly anticipating the exciting showdown that lies ahead. Moreover, Tim Bradley feels David Morell still lacks the experience needed to compete at the highest level, pointing out that he wasn't impressed with Morell's recent performance. Bradley believes Benavidez has the upper hand, not only because of his pressure fighting, but also his ability to box and move when needed. He thinks Morell will have a tough time dealing with Benavidez's versatility, as the former champion can adapt his style and do a little bit of everything in the ring, making him a difficult challenge for Morell.
I still think Morell still needs a little bit more seasoning, to be honest with you. I wasn't too fond of his last fight.
Part of why
I really was.
Benavidez. Yep.
Yeah, it wasn't too fond. Benavidez can do a little bit of everything. We only see him as being a pressure type of assassin type of guy, throwing quick combinations and really, just stepping on the gas and squashing guys. But, he can move and box if he wants to as well. He can. I've seen him. So he has that degree. So he can do a little bit of everything in there, which makes me believe that Morell's gonna struggle against that, man. Morell he likes guys that are, pretty much stationary, man, in my opinion.
Elijah Vines believes David Benavidez will dominate the upcoming fight against David Morell, despite respecting both fighters' styles and personalities. Vines, who relates to Benavidez's boxer-puncher approach, feels that Benavidez's experience and skill will be too much for Morell. While he acknowledges Morell's talent, Vines is confident that Benavidez will execute his game plan effectively, using his strength and abilities to control the fight and come out on top.
I think Benavidez is I don't know, I always liked Benavidez. Always liked him. So I feel like
that's because you're a boxer puncher. You love boxer punches.
Absolutely, but I don't know. I can resonate with him. Like I like his style. I like his personality. You know what I mean? I feel like that's going to be a good fight. But I feel like Benavidez is going to dominate.
Dominate?
Dominate, yeah. Some people might call me crazy because I had this conversation, but I don't know. I see a lot of stuff. I see a lot of things that Benavidez is going to be able to execute with a fighter like that.
Vines doesn't think Benavidez will stop Morell, but he expects him to win most of the rounds. While Morell may find some success in moments, Vines believes Benavidez's overall strength and skill will dominate. He predicts the fight will go the distance, with Benavidez winning by unanimous decision.
I don't think he's going to stop him. I think he's going to dominate majority of the rounds. Not all the rounds, but I feel like he's going to dominate. But it's going to be by unanimous decision.
Caleb Plant shared his excitement for the upcoming fight between David Benavidez and David Morell, highlighting the significance of the matchup due to their differing styles. Plant described Benavidez as very aggressive, noting how well he combines his punches, while Morell, though skilled, tends to be more crafty and less aggressive in his approach. He recognized that both fighters offer something unique, making the fight an intriguing one. Plant believes the matchup has a lot of potential and is eager to see how it plays out.
Their styles are different. Southpaw, right-handed, one puts their punches together very well. And so does David Morell, but he's a little more crafty. He's a little more maybe passive in his approach. I'll say that. And but that's a big fight. That's one I'm excited for. So
Jesse Hart highlighted some weaknesses in David Morell's performance during his last fight, particularly his tendency to slow down after the 9th round. Hart pointed out that Morell can be vulnerable to getting hit if an opponent lands at the right moment. He also raised concerns about Morell's habits outside the ring, wondering if they might eventually affect his performance. Hart is paying close attention to see if Morell has addressed these issues, believing that Benavidez could take advantage of these weaknesses in their upcoming fight.
Dave Morell, I'm looking at he grown. Can we get him that last fight? I seen a lot of weaknesses in him. A lot of weaknesses. I'm looking at have he grown from that fight that he went 12 rounds for the first time in his ever career. You know what I mean? Around the 9th, I seen he start slowing down. I seen you can touch him. You can clip him if you get him at the right time. He slows down around about the 9th round. And David Benavidez, his living habits outside the ring, did that catch up to him? I'm watching for all that. And I'll be looking February 1st to see that my predictions is right.
Jesus Ramos recently shared his views on the potential fight between David Benavidez and David Morell, recognizing the impressive skills of both fighters. He praised Morell's talent and amateur experience, but noted that he still lacks the professional experience that Benavidez has gained over the years. Ramos pointed out that Benavidez has already faced tough opponents like Andre Durrell and Caleb Plant, which has given him valuable experience. He believes that while Morell is highly skilled, his lack of experience in longer, tougher fights could be a disadvantage, especially if he faces frustration like he did in his last bout.
Yeah, no, man. All connections aside, all friendships aside, I like both guys. I like both guys' styles. I think they're both very exciting. I've learned a lot from Morell. He's a southpaw himself, and I've learned a couple things from him watching the fight. But I just feel like he's lacking the experience, that Benavidez already has. He fought Andrade, he fought Caleb Plant. Those are tough guys, man, and he beat them. And Morell, he's extremely talented. He's got a lot of amateur experience, but I still feel like, I think he kind of showed it in that last fight where he needs that pro experience. He needs a tricky, cagey guy to take him some rounds, because he got a little frustrated there, in that last fight. So I still feel like he lacks that experience.
Ramos gave the edge to Benavidez, citing his experience and ability to handle tough rounds as key factors. He expects Morell to start strong early in the fight, but ultimately believes that Benavidez's experience will allow him to take control in the later rounds and secure the win as the fight progresses.
And I feel like Benavidez has been there and he's done that. So I think that I give the edge to Benavidez in that aspect. And I feel like Morell might come out strong, but I see Benavidez edging that out in the later rounds.
Stephen Edwards praised David Morell for his strength and size, expressing admiration for the Cuban fighter's abilities. However, he noted that Morell's size advantage at 168 pounds has allowed him to overpower smaller opponents, which has kept him from fully showcasing his boxing IQ and other skills. Edwards believes that Morell hasn't yet been tested enough to reveal his full range of abilities, particularly when it comes to strategy and adaptability in the ring.
I'm very impressed with David Morell, but he kind of relies on his forcefulness, his strength, his size. I mean, he's way too big to be fighting 68 pounds. I've been around. He's a big guy, you know. So I'm very, very impressed with him. But a lot of the guys he's been fighting are so much smaller than he is where he doesn't have to go into his bag of tricks and rely on other things like his IQ and things like that. Now, I'm not saying he doesn't have it, but I haven't seen it yet.
Demetrius Andrade shared his thoughts on David Morell, admitting that he hasn't seen enough of his fights to fully assess his abilities. He acknowledged Morell's size and decent speed, but mentioned that his punches can sometimes be a bit wild. Andrade believes that with more experience, Morell's technique will improve. He emphasized that tightening up his technique will be crucial for Morell to be effective at the elite level.
It's tough because I haven't really watched David Morell fight by fight. I don't, to really see what he has. I seen maybe like one or two of his fights. I was like, okay, he's a big kid. He got some decent speed, but he's a little wild with his punches. You know, that comes with experience, of course, when he'll start tightening it up. Is he tight right now to be able, because David does have a good...
Andrade also pointed out David Benavidez's significant reach advantage, making him tough to hit, especially for a fighter like Morell, who tends to throw wide punches. Benavidez's long arms help him block incoming attacks effectively, which could frustrate Morell during the fight. Andrade believes Morell will need to be much more precise, setting up clean and accurate shots to break through Benavidez's defense and have a chance at success.
His arms are long. Listen, his arms are long. To me, you know what I'm saying? Morell's bigger than me, so he might have long. But when you're throwing punches at him, his arms are so long, it's so tough to hit him, especially if you're coming off wide. You got to really pinpoint the shots with David. I don't know if Morell has that in him. And I'm a sharpshooter. And David was able to, like, you know, with his length, be able to, like, block a lot of the shots I was throwing as well, too. So, I mean, you really got to set him up with some clean walk-in trap shots.
So what are your thoughts on this? What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comment section and also make sure to subscribe and like if you enjoyed the video.